Okay, so greetings to everyone. Welcome to CAP Engineering Video Tutorials. Okay, so ang subject natin ngayon is Statics of Rigid Bodies. Ito yung ating Module 2. At itong video nito ito yung Part 1 ng Module 2. Okay? Ang specific topic na iti-take up natin in Module 2 is Coplanar, Concurrent, Force System. Okay? So, in this video, I will explain the basic fundamentals and sample problems. Okay? So, let's start. Okay, so what is concurrent coplanar force system? Okay? So, a coplanar concurrent force system is a group of forces of which all are on the same plane. Okay, like in this figure, no? And all forces intersect in a single common point. Okay, so we have three forces. Okay, this is on the same plane. We're in x and y axis lang siya. Okay, and three forces are in the same plane. So this is coplanar. Okay, since all forces intersect in a single common point. So therefore, this force system is what we call coplanar concurrent force system. Okay? And then, if we aim this concurrent force system to solve the resultant force, so first is we must solve the component of each of forces. Okay, so like this one. So the component of force 1 is this is our fx1 and this is our fy1. Okay? And the component of f2 is this is our fx2, which is going to the left, and then fy2 is going to upward, no? And then the component of f3 is like this, no? So this is our fx3 and this is our fy3. Okay? If we need to if we want to convert f1, f2 and f3 into its equivalent single force, so we call it resultant. Okay? So like this one. Okay? So this is the resultant force of these three forces. Okay? So, this is the component Ry, or the component of the resultant with respect to vertical axis, and this Rx is the component of resultant force R with respect to horizontal or x-axis. And then, this is what we call theta x, or the direction of the resultant force with respect to x-axis. Okay? And then, ang meaning ng resultant force, the resultant of a system of forces is the simplest force combination which can replace the original forces without altering the external effect on the rigid body to which the forces are applied. Okay? So, yun yung meaning niya. Okay? And then, if we want to solve the resultant, no? The components of the resultant force, or the resultant force, and the direction of the resultant force, so we must compute or determine these common formulas, no? Okay? So the x component of the resultant is equal to the summation of forces in the x direction. So to determine Rx, okay, Rx is equal to the summation of fx. Okay, summation of all component of all forces with respect to x-axis. Okay, which is equivalent to fx1 plus fx2 plus fx3 plus ... plus fxn. Okay? Wherein kapag yung, okay, like if we consider f1, okay, so fx1 is going to the right. Okay, so therefore fx1 is positive, no? If we assume going to the right is positive, okay, if we consider the horizontal component of f2, which is fx2 is going to the left. Okay, so in this formula, that is plus, but fx2, that will be negative, no? So, mamaminus siya. Okay, so yun yung formula niya. Okay, to compute the Ry, or the component of the resultant force with respect to vertical, that is equal to the summation of Fy. Okay, isum up lang natin yung all vertical component of all forces. That is equivalent to Fy1 plus Fy2 plus Fy3 plus ... plus Fy to the n. Okay, so that is how we compute Rx and Ry. Okay, how about if we want to compute the resultant force? Okay, what is the formula? Okay, so solving for the resultant force R, so therefore I think merong error dito. This is R, no? This is R. So therefore the resultant force, okay, so if we consider this triangle, if we consider this right triangle, okay, since this Ry is parallel to this line, so this is Ry also. Okay, and then we know that this line is resultant force. So therefore, since this is a right triangle, so therefore we can we use the formula of Pythagorean theorem. So therefore, this R is equal to the square root of Rx squared plus Ry squared. Okay, so yun yung formula niya. Okay, so solving for the direction of the resultant force R, okay, so we need to compute, or if we want to compute theta x, okay, so that will be the formula of tangent theta x is equal to Ry divided by Rx. Okay, so gamitin lang natin yung trigonometry, no? So tangent theta x is equal to vertical divided by the horizontal. Okay, that's the rule of trigonometry. Okay, if we want to use cosine or sine, the sine of this triangle, so sine theta x is equal to Ry divided by R. Okay, ito. Okay, so Ry divided by R. Okay, so that will be sine theta x. Okay, if we want to use cosine, okay, so cosine theta x is equal to Rx divided by the resultant force, R. Okay, gets nyo? Okay, so yun yung formula niya. Okay, sample problem tayo dito. Okay, sample problem 2.1. The four forces acting on the body shown in figure SP 2.1. Okay, itong figure na to. Okay, so determine the resultant force acting on the body in pounds. Okay, and B is determine the direction of the resultant force from positive x-axis. Okay, so saan yung positive x-axis natin? So ito yung x, ito yung positive, and ito yung negative. So dito yung positive x-axis. Okay, so unahin natin computein yung resultant force. Okay, so ito yung solution natin. Okay, so first is we need to compute the hypotenuse of this triangle, no? So since this is 3 and this is 4, so therefore this is 5. Okay, so and then dito naman, this in this triangle, this is 2, 1. Therefore, the hypotenuse will be square root of 2 squared plus 1 squared. That is equivalent to square root of 5. Okay? And then, in this triangle, in 260 pounds, okay, this is 5 and 12. So, therefore, square root of 5 squared plus 12 squared, that is 13. Okay? And then the hypotenuse of 2 and 3 is equal to the square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared. And that is equivalent to square root of 13. Okay? So, una is mag-numbering lang tayo. So, ito yung ating first one. Okay? Para makita natin yung sequence. Okay? So, ito yung first 3 at ito yung ating first 3, first 2 ito. At ito yung ating first 4. Okay? So, una is solve muna natin yung Rx. Okay? Kasi kung gusto nating solvein yung resultant force, so solvein muna natin yung Rx and Ry. And we know that that Rx or the component of the resultant with respect to x-axis is equal to the summation of Fx of all forces. Okay? And then we assume that positive is going to the right. Okay, which is the summation of Fx is equal to 600, okay, times 4 over 5. Okay, so isa-isahin ko to. Okay, isa-isahin ko to. Okay, okay, so ito yung 600 natin. Okay, so una tayo sa force 1. Okay, so what is the component, what is the horizontal component of 600 pound force? Okay, okay, so 600 pounds, and then okay, let this we call as theta. Okay, so if we solve Fx, okay, Fx1, that is okay 600, okay, that is 600 pounds cosine theta. Okay, di ba yun? Okay, yun. And then if we isolate this triangle, this is 3, 4, and 5. So, by cosine theta, okay, okay, that is equal to 4 divided by 5. Okay, that is 4 divided by 5. Okay, so that's why this is 600, okay, and then cosine theta, that is equivalent to 4 over 5. Okay, so that's why 4 over 5 yan. Okay? And take note, no? Yung 600 pounds natin is going up to the right. So therefore, up to the right siya. So therefore, the component of 600 pounds with respect to horizontal is going to the right. Yung horizontal component mo ay component ng 600 pounds. And then we assume that going right is positive. So that's why positive to. Okay, that's why positive yan. Okay, gets nyo? Gets nyo ba? Okay? So, yun. Okay? Yun yung 600 times 4 over 5. Okay, how about yung component ng 448 pound? Ito yun. Okay? And then, yung direction ng 448 pounds is going left, up to the left. Okay, this is up. It is going upward and going to the left. Therefore, if we draw the horizontal component of a 448 pound, that is going to the left. And then, yung right natin is positive. So therefore, going to the left is negative. So that's why negative to. Okay? And then yung component ng 448 pounds with respect to x is equal to 448 pounds, okay, times 1 divided by square root of 5. Okay, same lang yung procedure sa pag-solve natin dito. Okay, kung mag-assume kayo ng angle dyan, okay, kung mag-assume kayo ng angle dito, okay, tawagin lang ko to ng alpha. So therefore, cosine alpha is equal to 1 divided by square root of 5. Okay, so that's why this is cosine alpha. Okay, so that's why 1 over square root over 5 yan. Okay, gets nyo? Okay? And then, yung pangalawa naman, okay, so, pangatlo, yung first try natin, so therefore, yung yung component ng 260 pound with respect to horizontal, that is going to the left. Okay, that's why negative yan. Okay? And then, times the force 260, and then the scale with respect to horizontal, no? That is 12 divided by 13. Okay? And then the last force, this is the component of the 361 pound with respect to horizontal, that is going to the left. Okay, that's why positive yan. Kasi nag-assume tayo na going to the right is positive. And then times 361 pounds times cosine to this angle. What is cosine to this angle? No? Okay. Okay, what is cosine to this angle? Okay. And this angle is equal to that angle, no? And then cosine theta is equal to 3 over square root of 13. So that's why 3 over square root of 13 yan. Okay, gets nyo? Okay, so therefore, the summation of fx is equivalent to 340.02 pounds. Okay, so that is our summation of fx, or that is our rx. Okay, how about yung ry natin? How to solve that one? So, ry is equal to summation of fy, or summation of all vertical component of all forces. And then we assume that going upward is positive. Okay? So, unahin natin yung explain ko, isa-isahin ko to. Okay, so ito yung first one natin. Okay, so therefore, since yung 600 pound is going up to the right, so therefore, the vertical component, it should also going upward. Okay? So that's why positive yan. Okay? Positive yung 600 pounds natin. Okay? So 600 pound times the sine to this angle. Okay? So what is the sine of this angle? Okay? So sine, okay, if this angle is theta, okay, so what, and then this is theta also. So what is sine of this angle? Okay, so that is sine theta is equal to 3 divided by 4. Okay, 3 divided by 5. Okay, sorry. 3 over 3 divided by 5. Okay, so that's why 600 times 3 over 5 yan. Okay? And then yung 448 pounds, okay, going upward yan. Okay, so that's why positive to. Okay, so times 448 pounds times 2 over square root of 5. Okay? And then yung third force natin is 260 pounds. That is going downward to the left. So therefore, since downward yan, so therefore the vertical component is going downward also. Okay, so that's why minus to. Okay? Kasi nag-assume tayo na going upward is positive. Okay, so therefore, 260 pounds times 5 divided by 13. Okay? Okay, okay na yan. Okay, so ito naman, yung pang-apat. So therefore, yung pang-apat natin, this is 360 pounds, that is downward to the right. Okay, so therefore, the vertical component is going downward. So that's why minus yan. Okay, so therefore, 361 times 2 over square root of 13. So 2 over square root of 13. And that is equivalent to 460.46 pounds. Okay, so meron na tayong Rx and meron na tayong Ry. So therefore, we can now solve the resultant force. No? So therefore, the resultant force is equivalent to the square root of Rx squared plus Ry squared is equal to the square root of what is our Rx. Rx natin, ito yung Rx natin. Okay? So therefore, 340.02 squared plus 460.46 squared. Okay? Yun yung Fy natin. Okay? So therefore, the resultant force natin is equivalent to 572.40 pounds. Okay? Yun yung resultant force natin. Okay? And then, if we want to solve the direction of the resultant force, or we need to solve theta x. Okay, so ito yung gawin natin. Okay, so tingnan niyo yung figure. Okay? Iko-convert ko yung, 'di ba yung sabi ko kanina, resultant force is the equivalent force of all of these forces. Okay, so yung apat na yan, gawin kong isa. Okay, gawin kong equivalent single force. Okay, so like this one. Ito yan. Okay, bakit dyan yung Rx natin? Because, okay, because, tingnan niyo yung Rx natin. Rx natin, ito yung Rx natin, summation of Fx. And that is positive. Okay? And that is positive. Okay? Okay. Wait lang. Okay? So, that is positive. So, that's why dito yan. Okay? And then, yung Fy natin is positive also, 460.46 pounds. Okay? So, di ba nag-assume tayo na going upward is positive. So, therefore, yung Ry natin is nandito. So, therefore, if we want to solve the resultant force, okay? So, therefore, ganyan yung resultant niya. Nandito siya. Okay? Alam na natin kung saan siyang quadrant yung resultant na locate. Okay? So, nasa quadrant 1. Okay? Gets nyo? Okay? So, therefore, ito yung resultant. Ito yung ating Ry and ito yung ating Rx. Okay? So, therefore, ito yung ating theta x. So, therefore, by using tangent theta x is equal to Ry divided by Rx. And that is equivalent to 460.46 divided by 340.02. Okay? And then, if we want to solve theta x, that will inverse lang natin to. So, inverse tan is inverse tan of 460.46 divided by 340.02. That is equivalent to 53.56 degrees. Okay? So, therefore, the direction of the resultant force is up. Okay? Up to the right, 53.56 degrees from positive x-axis. Okay, bakit up to the right? Okay, tingnan niyo yung R natin. Okay, this is going upward and going to the right. Okay, so that's why up to the right yan. Or, pwede ganito. Yung up natin, Ry is going upward. And then, yung Rx natin is going to the right. Okay, so yun, up to the right. Okay, gets nyo? And then yung degrees natin. Okay, so 53.56 degrees from positive x-axis. Okay, so yun yung direction natin. Okay, so yun yung answer natin. Okay, so sample problem 2.2. Okay, 2.2 ito. Okay, problem 2.2 ito. Okay, so knowing that alpha is equal to 45 degrees, determine the resultant and its direction from positive x-axis of the three forces shown. Okay, so may figure tayo dito, no? So, may tatlong forces tayo. Okay, so 20 pounds, 80 pounds, and 60 pounds. Okay? So, yung pinadidetermine sa atin is yung resultant ng tatlong forces na ito. And its direction also. Okay, so yun yung pinadidetermine sa atin. Okay, so actually may dalawang solution ito no? Pili lang kayo kung asan yung comfortable solution nyo, no? So proceed tayo, no? So ito yung gawin natin, ito yung solution natin. So we know that alpha is 45 degrees. And then, ang gusto kong gawin, dito ako magre-reference. Okay. Okay. Ang i-consider kong axis is x prime and y prime. Di ba x prime ito? So, therefore, x prime yan. Okay, x prime yan. And ito yung y prime. Okay? So, para madaling solvein yung resultant force natin, ang gawin ko lang is kunin ko yung component of forces ng tatlong forces na yan with respect to x prime and y prime. Okay, gets niya? No? yun yung mas madali kasi. Okay? So, tingnan natin yun. Okay? So, if we want to solve the resultant force, so we need to solve first Rx prime. Okay? So, bakit Rx prime ito? Kasi yung Rx prime, meaning yan is the component of resultant force with respect to x prime. Okay? X prime yan. Okay? So, ito yung x-axis natin, ha? Horizontal yan. And then yung x prime is inclined. That is 20 degrees from the ground. Okay? So, ito yung, so mag-assume tayo na going to the right is positive. So, that's, so summation of fx prime is equal to, okay? So, isa-isahin natin to. Okay? So, going to the right, okay, ito yung direction niya. Going to the right is positive. Okay? Itong direction na, itong direction niya. Okay? So, yung 60 pounds natin is along to x prime. Okay? Tingnan nyo. Yung 60 pound natin is along sa x prime or parallel sa x prime natin. So, therefore, yung component ng 60 pounds is 60 pounds. And since yung 60 pounds natin is going to the right, that's why when we assume that going to the right is positive, so that's why plus yan. Okay, positive 60 yan. Okay, gets nyo? Okay, and yung 80 naman, okay, tingnan nyo yung 80 pounds. Okay, ito yung gawin natin. Okay, so yung 80 pounds natin is going up to the right. Okay, up to the right. Okay, since up to the right yan, so therefore, the component of 80 pounds, okay, kunin ko lang yung component ng 80 pounds with respect to x prime, okay, ito yun. Okay, yun yung direction niya. Okay, yun yung direction niya. This is the fx prime of 80 pounds. Okay, and then in this direction, that is positive. So that's why positive ito. Okay, and then what is the horizontal component? That is 80 pound cosine 45 degrees. Okay, so 80 pound cosine 45 degrees. Okay, gets niya? Okay, how about yung 120 pounds? Okay, so 120 pounds, ito yung component niya. Okay, okay, so yung gusto kong component is with respect to x prime and y prime. So parallel sa x prime and parallel sa y prime. Okay, so parallel component ng 120 pounds, this is the component of 120 pounds. Okay, that is parallel to x prime. Okay, so going to the right. Okay, ito yung going to the right. Or gusto nyo, pwede ganito. Okay, pwede ko siyang i-extend by the rule of transmissibility. Diba? Okay, by the rule of transmissibility, equal lang yan. This is 120 pounds. Okay? And then, okay, kung gusto kong kunin yung component with respect to x prime, and that is in this direction. Okay, gets nyo? So, that's why going positive to. Okay, so that's why 120 pounds yan. Okay? So, ang gawin ko lang is i-extend ko yung y prime natin. Y prime axis. So, kung 45 degrees to, okay, so therefore, 45 degrees naman to. Okay, if we consider this angle, 45 degrees, so therefore, to solve the horizontal component of 100 pounds with respect to x prime, that is 120 sine 45 degrees. Okay, sine gamitin natin. Kasi ito yung kunin natin eh. Horizontal yung kunin natin. And that is equivalent to 221.42 pounds. And that is going to the right. Okay? Along to x prime axis. Okay? Gets nyo? Okay? So, ang next natin kunin yung ry prime. Okay? So, ry prime is the summation of y prime of fy prime, or the summation of all vertical components with respect to y prime. Yun. And then we assume that going positive is going upward is positive. Okay, so that's why summation of Fy prime is equal to, okay, tingnan niyo yung 60 pound. Okay, so di ba yung kinoconsider natin ng axis is Y prime and X prime. Okay, so since yung 60 pounds natin is purely parallel to the X prime, no? So therefore, wala na yung Fy niya. Kasi purely horizontal, purely parallel lang siya with respect to X prime. So, therefore, the vertical component with respect to Y prime ng 60 pounds is 0. Okay, gets niya? Okay? And then, yung 80 pounds natin. Okay, ito yung 80 pounds natin. Okay, so, yung component ng 80 pounds, ito yung component with respect to X prime, and ito naman yung component niya with respect to Y prime. Okay, and then, yung component na ito is going upward, that is going upward. And then, we know that upward is positive. Kaya, positive to. Okay, so, and then, how to solve the vertical component of 80 pounds? That is using 45 degrees. That is 80, okay, 80 sine 45 degrees. Okay, so that's why ganyan yan. Okay, and then, yung 120 pounds naman. Okay, para hindi kayo malito, okay, ito yung gawin ko, extend ko lang siya. Okay, by the rule of transmissibility. Okay, and then ito yan. Okay, ito yun. Okay, so kung 45 degrees ito, 45 degrees naman yan. Okay, okay, gets nyo? Okay, so ito yung 120 pounds natin. Okay, kung gusto natin kunin yung vertical component ng 120 pounds, ito yung vertical component niya. Okay, ito yung vertical component niya. Okay, and that direction is going downward. Okay, so that downward siya, so minus siya. Okay, so how to solve the vertical component? How to solve this component? That is 120 cosine 45 degrees. So 120 cosine 45 degrees. Okay? And that is equivalent to negative. Okay? Negative 28.28 pounds. Okay? So, therefore, kung i-graph ko to, okay, kung i-graph ko yung fx prime, ito yung direction niya. Okay? Ito yung direction niya. And then, yung fy prime natin, okay, ito yung siya. Okay? Going downward. Okay? Okay, so therefore, yung resultant force natin is nandito. Okay, nandito siya. Okay, yun yung resultant force natin. Okay, projected yan. Okay, so alam na natin kung saan yung direction ng resultant force natin. Okay, gets niya? Okay, so and then to solve the resultant force, okay, so therefore, square root of Rx prime squared plus Ry prime squared, that is equivalent to square root of 201.42 squared plus negative 0.28 squared, that is equivalent to 203.40 pounds. Okay, so therefore, may resultant na tayo. Okay, so therefore, resultant force, okay na to. Okay, ang kulang na lang yung direction niya. Okay, direction yung kulang natin. Okay? So, how to solve the direction of the resultant force? Okay, so kunin natin yung theta x prime. Okay, kunin natin yung theta x prime. So, how to solve? So, tangent theta x prime is equivalent to Ry prime divided by Rx prime. Okay, so that is equivalent to, okay, so Ry prime natin, that is negative, ito yun, negative 28.28 divided by what is our Rxy prime. This is our Rxy prime. Okay, so that's why divided by 201.42 degrees, 42 pounds. Okay, so gusto natin yung kunin yung theta x prime, that inverse tan lang natin siya. Okay, so inverse tan, negative 28.28 divided by 201.42, and that is equivalent to negative 7.99 degrees. Okay, Anong ibig sabihin ng 7.99 degrees? Okay? Actually wala dapat hindi kayo dapat malito dito. Okay? Yung negative is represent, okay? Dito siya. Okay? Below below ng positive x prime axis lang siya. Okay? So ito yung negative, ito yung yun yung nagrepresent ng negative sign ito. Okay, so that's why yung resultant direction natin is ganito. Okay, actually maliit lang 'yan, no? Maliit lang yung actually approximately 8 degrees naman to. Okay, so maliit lang 'yan. So approximately nandito lang siya. Okay? Yung resultant force natin. Okay? Okay. So ito yung resultant force natin. Okay, i-draw ko lang siya. Okay, nang maigi, no? I-draw ko lang. Okay. I-draw ko lang siya. Nandito yung resultant force natin. Okay, okay, nandito yung resultant force natin. Okay? So this is 80 degrees, no? This is 8 degrees. This is 7.99 degrees. Okay, 7.99 degrees. If we plot the x-axis, okay, ito yung x-axis natin. Okay, if we draw the horizontal x-axis, okay, actually hindi masyadong i-change ko lang, i-change. If we draw, okay, if we draw horizontal, no? Okay. Di ba 20 degrees ito? Di ba 20 degrees yan? Okay? Kasi 20 degrees ito eh. And then, we know that yung theta x prime natin, okay, ito yung x prime natin. So, therefore, yung resultant force natin is pababa siya with 7.99 degrees. So, since ito naman is 20 degrees, so therefore, less than, nasa loob siya ng 20 degrees. Okay, so dapat nandito lang siya, yung resultant force natin. Okay? Nandyan lang siya. Okay, this is 7.99 degrees. Okay, ito yun. Okay, ito yan. Okay? So, therefore, yung direction ng resultant force natin, okay, is equal to 203.40 pounds. Okay? Ito yung x-axis natin, ha? Ito yung x-axis natin. Kasi tinatanong is determine the resultant in its direction from positive, okay, positive x-axis. X-axis tayo. Okay? So, dito yung x-axis natin. And then, we know that resultant force is up to the right. Okay? Di ba, nasa sa taas ng positive x-axis natin? So, therefore, yung direction yung resultant natin is 203.40 pounds up to the right. Okay? With 12.01 degrees from positive x-axis. Okay? Paano nangyari na 12.01 degrees yan? Okay? Itong angle na to, how to solve this angle? Okay? Since 20 degrees ito, minus lang natin yung 7.99 degrees. And that is equivalent to 7.01 degrees. Okay? So, yun yung answer natin. Okay? How about if we solve this by force polygon? Okay? So, we can solve this by force polygon. So, ito yung mangyayari natin. Okay? So, ito yung answer natin kanina, which is 203.40 pounds up to the right, 12.01 degrees from positive x-axis. Okay? So, yung rules ng polygon is magdodraw lang tayo ng polygon, no? Which is i-connect lang natin yung mga forces natin. Okay? And then yung gap nila, okay, yung gap line ng forces na yon is yun yung resultant force natin. Okay, para isushow ko sa inyo kung anong rules niya. Okay? So, all we need, no? Okay? Okay, so ito siya. Unahin ko lang, magpo-form lang ako ng polygon. Okay? Iko-connect ko lang yung all forces niya. Okay? Iko-connect ko lang. Okay? Pili lang kayo kung anong forces unahin nyo. In any sequence, basta maka-form lang kayo ng polygon, that is okay. Okay? So, walang rule ng sequence dito. Okay? Basta yung rules lang niya is kailangan hindi mabago yung orientation or direction ng resultant force. Okay? That's the number 1 rule. And the number 2 rule, yung force mo, okay? Yung force ng yung magnitude ng force mo, that is represent the side of the polygon. Okay? So, yun. Okay, so ito. Okay? Tingnan nyo yung mabuti. Unahin ko muna si 80 pounds. Okay? I-draw ko si 80 pounds. And mag-orient ako with respect to x prime. Okay? Okay? With respect to x prime ako, ha? Okay? With respect to x prime ako. Okay? So, ito yon. Okay? Hindi na bago yung orientation and yung 80 pounds ko, yung side niya. Okay? And then, what is the direction of 80 pounds with respect to x? Okay? Paano kunin yan? Okay, kung magdodraw ako ng horizontal line, which is parallel to x-axis, this is 20 degrees. Diba? 20 yan. So, therefore, 20 degrees and then plus 45 degrees, that is 65 degrees. Okay, so that's why ganyan yan. Okay, gets nyo? Gets nyo ba? Okay, ang next gawin ko is, tapos na ako sa 80 pounds, ine-next ko si 60 pounds. Okay, tingnan nyo yung mabuti. Okay, ito yon. Okay? Actually, may na-notice kayo, no? Okay, kapag nagamit kayo ng force polygon, kailangan, since 80 pounds ito, so therefore, and then itong force na to is 60 pounds, dapat yung length ng itong side na to is greater to this side. Kasi malaki yung force nito kaysa nito. Okay? So, yun yung rules niya. Okay, so what is the orientation of 60 pounds? Okay, since parallel naman siya sa x prime, so therefore, the orientation niya is that is 20 degrees from the horizontal. Okay? So, therefore, in-next ko si 120 pounds. Okay? In-next ko si 120 pounds. Okay? So, na-notice nyo, yung 120 pounds is mas mataas pa siya kaysa 80 pounds. Kasi mas mataas yung force niya kaysa 80 pounds eh. Okay? Kailangan talaga symmetrical. Kailangan lang talaga is matamatahin lang nyo muna yung length niya. Okay? So, ito yun. And then, what is the orientation of 120 pounds? Okay? So, kung i-extend ko yung 120 pounds niya, okay, ito, di ba? I-extend ko lang yung by the rule of transmissibility. Okay? Para hindi kayo malito, ito yun. So, since this is 45 degrees, okay? Since this is 45 degrees, so therefore, 45 yan. Okay? 45 degrees yan. And then, if I will draw a vertical line, this is, okay? If this is 20 degrees, this is 20 degrees by the rule of trigonometry. Trigonometry ito. Okay, so 20 plus 45 degrees. Okay, so therefore, ang angle na yan is 65 degrees. Okay? Yun yung orientation niya. Okay, yung direction niya. Okay? And then, kung gusto natin kunin yung resultant force niya, okay, kailangan nyo muna i-point out kung saan kayo nag-reference point. Okay? Yung reference point is nandito. Dito ako nagsimula. Okay? So, dito ako mag-reference point. And then, magdodraw ako ng line to connect the last force of the polygon. Okay? So, ito yung gawin ko. Okay? So, yan yung resultant force natin. Okay? Gets nyo? Okay? So, and then, kunin muna natin yung mga angle niya. Okay? Ito naka-form na tayo ng force polygon. Okay? So, ito yung force polygon natin. Okay? And then, yung target natin, no? Kunin muna natin. Kung 65 degrees ito, okay? So, therefore, 25 degrees yan. Okay? So, 65, then 65 ito. Since 90 naman yan, so therefore, 25 degrees ito. Okay? And then, yung theta natin, ito yung theta natin. Okay? Okay, and then, ito yung, ilang angle ito? Okay, since 20 degrees naman to, so therefore, this angle is 20 degrees. Okay, since 90 naman ito, okay, so therefore, 90 minus 20, this is 70 degrees. Okay? So, ang aim natin dito is the resultant force, this one, okay? To solve the resultant force and theta. Okay? This is the resultant force and this is the direction. Okay? The direction of the resultant force. If we solve r and theta, therefore we can solve the problem. No? So that's it. Okay? So anong gawin natin dito? Okay? So gamitin natin si trigonometry. Okay? Gamitin natin si trigonometry dito. Okay, so ang gawin ko lang, okay? Actually may isa pa pala. Okay? May isa pa pala. Kung 65 degrees ito, okay? Okay? Kung 65 degrees ito, this is 65 degrees. Since 90 naman yan, so 90 minus 65, that is 25 degrees. Okay, so ang gawin ko dito, okay, is magdodraw ako ng line. Okay? I-divide ko siya. Yung mag-create ako mag-create ako ng line which mahahati yung polygon natin. Okay? So, may dalawang triangle na ako dito. Okay? Yung aim natin is to solve r and theta. Okay? Okay, so ito muna, no? So, okay, so we assume that this angle is alpha. Okay? Ang aim natin is r and theta. How we can achieve to solve r and theta? Okay? So, i-transfer ko lang, no? I-transfer ko lang siya. Okay, i-transfer ko lang siya. Okay? If we can solve x, okay? If we can solve x and this angle, okay? Kung makuha lang natin yung x niya at itong angle na ito, okay? At itong angle na to, makuha lang natin yung angle na ito, is makuha natin yung r. Okay? By the use of cosine law. Okay? Kasi may adjacent may two adjacent tayo, 80 pounds and x, and its angle. Okay? Kapag na determine natin ang angle na to at x, we can solve r. Okay? Gets niya? Okay, so yun yung aim natin. Okay, so to solve first r. Okay? So, to solve x, how to solve x? Okay? To solve x, we can use cosine. Okay? By cosine law, okay, since we have two adjacent sides and its angle, no? So, itong angle na to at adjacent side, so therefore, by using cosine law, ito yung formula ng cosine law. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. Okay? Where C and AB is the side and bigger C is the angle. Okay? So, that's why, okay, so therefore, x squared is equal to A, okay, this is the adjacent side, 60 squared, plus 120 squared minus 2 times 60 times 120 times cosine 135 degrees. Okay? To solve that, ang x natin, that is equivalent to 167.88 pounds. Okay? And then, may x na tayo. Okay na yung x natin. Okay? Okay na yung x natin. Anong sunod natin gawin? To solve the angle of this. To solve this angle. Okay? Para malaman natin yung angle na yan, kailangan natin si alpha. Okay? Paano natin kunin si alpha? Okay? So, by the rule of sine law, gagamit tayo ng sine law. Okay? Ito yung formula ng sine law, di ba? So, A divided by sine A is equal to B divided by sine of bigger B is equal to C over sine angle C. Okay? Ito yung formula na yan. Okay? So, makakamap ako ng formula na yung 120 pounds, okay, so 120 pounds, yung opposite side niya is alpha. So, 120 divided by sine alpha. Okay? And then, pipili ako ng side, gamitin ko sa x kasi given yung angle ng opposite ng x. Okay? So, is equal to 167.88 divided by sine, okay, sine 135 degrees. That is 65 plus 70. And then, we can now solve alpha. Alpha is equal to 30.36 degrees. Okay, gets niya? And then, nakuha na natin si alpha, no? Nakuha na natin si alpha. Anong sunod natin gawin? Okay, so, now, we can solve now this angle. Okay, how to find that angle? Okay? Okay, so, in that angle is equivalent to 79.64 degrees. Okay, bakit na 79.64 degrees yan? Okay, i-calculate ko muna, no? Okay? Di ba itong angle na ito, okay? Di ba, this is 90 degrees? Okay, ito yan. Okay? And then, this angle, okay, this angle, that is equivalent to 90 plus 20, okay, 90 plus 20, 90 plus 20 degrees, okay, minus alpha. Okay, what is our alpha? Minus 30.36. Okay, that is equivalent to 79.64. Okay, gets nyo? Okay, so proceed tayo. Okay, so may angle na tayo dito. Okay, so therefore, nasolve na natin yung angle na to. 25 degrees plus 79.64 degrees. Okay, now we can solve now the R. Okay, by using the cosine law. Okay, kasi may adjacent side tayo, may adjacent two sides tayo, and its angle. Included angle siya. Okay, so therefore, R squared is equal to, okay, 80 squared plus x squared. X squared is equivalent to 167.88 squared minus 2, okay, minus 2 times the adjacent side, that is 80 and 167.88 degrees. Okay, times cosine sa included angle. Okay, so cosine, okay, what is the included angle? That is cosine 25 plus 79.64 degrees. Okay, and that is equivalent, the resultant force is equivalent to 203.40 pounds. Okay, gets it? Okay, so malapit na tayo. Okay, and then, to solve theta, okay, so meron na tayong theta. Okay na, meron na tayong theta. Ano na lang yung kulang para ma-solve yung question ng problem? Yung direction niya. Okay, so kailangan natin yung theta. Okay, para ma-solve natin yung theta, kailangan natin kunin si beta. Okay, how to solve beta? Okay, how to solve beta? Okay, so by using sine law, okay, so gamitin ko lang yung sine law. So ito yung gamitin ko. So r, okay, so 203.40 degrees divided by the sine of opposite angle of r. That is sine 25 plus 79.64 degrees is equal to x, gamitin ko kasi gusto ko yung solvein yung beta. So, x gamitin ko dapat. So, is equal to x 167.88 divided by sine beta. Okay? So, therefore, our beta will be 52.99 degrees. Okay? Gets ya? Okay, so therefore, okay, now, we solve beta. Okay, so, how to solve theta? Okay, so to solve theta, that is 65 degrees minus beta. Okay, so ito yon. So, 65 minus 52.99 degrees. That is equivalent to 12.01 degrees. Okay? So, positive yung answer natin. So, therefore, yung polygon natin is tama. Okay? Tama yung solution natin. Okay? So, therefore, our final answer will be 203.40 pounds. Okay? Ito yung resultant natin. And then, that is up to the right. Okay? That is up. Okay? That is upward to the right. Okay? So, that's why 203.40 pounds up to the right. Okay? And that's 12.01 degrees from positive x-axis. Okay? So, yun. Okay? Gets nyo ba? Okay? So, that's the end of our part 1. No? So, thank you for watching. No? And best good luck. Thank you.